On today's video, I'm talking to Gio, and he owns a pizzeria inside a coffee shop. We're going to talk about how he got started, why he opened up inside the coffee shop, how much it cost him to get started, and all of that on this episode of the SPM Show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
This is great.
This is awesome.
This is like the second or third pizzeria that I've talked to. First one I've been to, third one I've talked to that is starting in a coffee shop. Which is super interesting.
I know. Like, I thought we were one of the unique pizzerias.
When did you start?
November of 22.
So we're in Chicago. Is this Chicago?
Southwest suburbs.
So you started, your family had those, it's like a thin crust pizza they cut into squares, right?
Yep,
yeah.
Squares. He did have very good deep dish and stuff, but you know, we loved his thin crust.
Did you know, so I went to a pizzeria. Like, did they know you're from out of state when you're like, hey, can I try the deep dish pizza?
I mean, not really.
Okay.
Because it was a common, like, we'd get it, I'd say, every 6 to 10 orders, you'd get a deep dish or a pan pizza. But yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't uncommon.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not the first pizza that you choose, right? Really laid the foundation of everything that I just learned about the business, the cadence, not necessarily the recipes, because we're doing completely different styles, but, you know, just knowing, like, you got prep days before for what you're trying to do. So, yeah, that kind of, we worked all through high school, obviously summer jobs when you're back from school or college or whatever we were doing.
So then you went to college to do something else?
I did, yeah. So I graduated with a degree in finance. I had a career of 18 years in finance and accounting.
Wow.
That I recently resigned from, and we're focused full-time on the pizza brand now. So
why did you do that? Like, why did you decide to leave? You just like this, like you wanted to follow something you enjoy doing?
So that and you know, the side business was no longer a side business. Like, the volume was there. We do a lot of on-site mobile pizza catering where we bring our uni ovens, set them up, cater up to 250 people.
Wow.
So we had the momentum. You know, I became a uni ambassador last year, so there's a lot of fun things.
What does that mean, actually? I know what it means, but like, what does that entail?
Yeah. So my brand actually started as a mobile brand. We were doing mobile caterings. I was using uni as a consumer. I wanted to grow. I eventually reached out to him and said, hey, let's collaborate. I wanted, you know, I love your ovens. I want to use them. Fast forward to 2 years, I got invited to work an uni booth with Leo Pizzeria at Pizza City Fest, the very first one. And, you know, some of their marketing folks and team members were there. They're like, man, you know, you did a good job. We love what you're doing. Like, we'd love to sign you up for an ambassadorship. And it was easy because I already love the product. I love talking pizza. I'll talk to anybody about anything. Yeah. And they said, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. You could test out our new products.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, you know, we get insight into what they got developing. They recently came out with that Coda Max, which is a 24-inch. We got to see it, you know, a few months ahead of time just to check it out and stuff like that. But
I'm actually going to interview the founder of Uni on the podcast.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Christian.
So if you're watching this, check that out on our podcast feed.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
Yeah. That's cool, though, like, because I think a lot of people watching this.
Yeah.
So our podcast is different than the YouTube channel. The podcast gets, like, industry people.
Yep.
And the YouTube channel gets more people who, well, like you, right? Like, started in something else. And, like, they have a passion for pizza. The Unis and Gazis make it so easy to get started with a pop-up now compared to 10 or 15 years ago. And they're like, all right, how do I do that? Like, how do I make this my full-time job? So you're a perfect example of it's possible.
It was very organic. Like, it was out of love. I love to cook just in general, but pizza was always the foundation because of my background.
Plus, pizza's great.
Pizza's great.
Like, everybody likes it. How long did you do both jobs?
It was about 2 years.
So see that? It's not easy, but it is possible.
And the thing with me was like, hey, we were only going to be open Saturdays. Yeah. And obviously we have a small footprint. The overhead allows for us to be open just on Saturdays. But it continued to be consistent, continued to grow. And, you know, then we slowly started saying, okay, we're going to start operating more days. So I'm like, all right, Thursday evenings, right? Thursday is kind of a good segue into that pizza. You know the industry. Thursday, Friday, Saturday are kind of like the core days. Friday is probably the busiest. But I'm like, let's try Thursdays and let's get Thursdays rolling, see how much traction we could get. And that just took off. So we started Thursdays about 1.5 years in to just the Saturday.
That's cool.
And then
so what's your hours now?
So right now we are consistently Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursdays and Fridays 4 to 8. Saturdays 11 to 8. But we're going to bookend Wednesday and Sunday to that stretch, and then we're also going to work on adding lunch hours.
So you're busy enough on those 3 days to really maintain a business, like for yourself to be able to do it full time?
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, so we get the volume. We also try to tack on our catering options, like the on-site, mobile.
So you do both those still?
Yeah.
So you do this like those 3 days, and then if someone wants to book a party or a wedding or something, you do that on the...
Yeah, dough classes. We've got an amazing barista bar right there.
Yeah, I saw that.
That used to be the primary barista bar that they serviced out of before they opened the front room.
So you can utilize that?
We can utilize that, offer dough classes.
This is a very unique, like, footprint you have here.
Yeah.
Because you get traffic from the coffee shop that probably... Like, obviously, you do a lot of marketing. You do great on social media. Yeah. And, like, you have a lot of events that you go to that people get to discover you. But I'm sure you get people who come in for coffee who are like, oh, what's that around the corner over there?
Oh, yeah. And you could tell, like, when you get a new customer or supporter, they're always, they kind of do they're looking at the whole building. And that's when I take that as an opportunity to interact with our customer, because oftentimes, like, you don't have that. Like, I'm here, they see me mixing dough or making sauce or cutting fresh veggies with our squad, and like it gives us an opportunity to say, oh, is this your first time here? Have you tried our pizza? Like, here's when we operate. So, that interaction's been key. We've had really great support from day one.
I did that. I came in and I was like, because you sent me a picture on Instagram, like, all right, this is what the building looks like. Go through the coffee shop. I came in the coffee shop and we were kind of waiting out there.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I hear people and they're going to walk around the corner. So I kind of walked around the corner, and that's how I found you too.
Did you see the side patio too?
I did.
Patio outdoors.
Yeah.
Cool too. But, I mean, it's just a very unique space.
Is it expensive to be here, like rent wise?
I mean,
do you have just this area?
Just this area, and then the common area is our 3-compartment sink.
Yeah.
This is it. So we're trying to make it work. That's why everything's on.
Yeah. Let's show us around a little bit.
Yeah. So we got our double fridges here, our double door coolers. This one's newer. So when we expanded our hours, we obviously needed the space to do volume. Typically, this is our dough fridge. We'll have some dough in here. So this is just, I was messing around with some dough balls that I prepped yesterday. And then, we've got par bakes that we typically put down here, some drinks that we offer up. I can't eat pizzas all the time, so I got some egg whites.
Perfect. You can't eat pizza all the time?
Not all the time. I mean, we have a great one that we started offering. And then this is usually like our supply fridge. Obviously, it's a little light now because I'm putting in my order today for tomorrow. But this is where we keep all our cheeses, meats, vegetables, all that stuff. And when we have caterings, these things are packed.
Yeah, I bet.
Right? Because it's dough manipulation between one fridge to the next. We always try to keep, the dough that we're going to be using, we'll eventually put it on this side so we can grab it easily, and it's all just kind of like,
this is great. So like you probably pound the pizza out here.
Yep, pound pizza out here.
So on your Instagram videos, where are you shooting those from?
Either from here, or here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I noticed that it probably makes it look a lot bigger than it really is.
Well, it doesn't make it look necessarily small.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You don't get a sense of like what it looks like when you're in here. But this is a good layout. Like you don't really need, if you're not doing multiple things, like you just do pizza, right?
Yep, just pizza right now.
All you need is a line to go in the oven and cut. You probably cut here when you're done.
Cut
so you make them here, top them in the oven, cut out.
Yeah, so sometimes we'll rack them if we want them to air out a little bit. Obviously, you don't want, once they go in the box, to get a little steamy, so we'll rack them a bit. That's why we kind of keep those there.
You know what? I have to say, a good sign, if you're watching this right now, a good sign, and maybe you do this.
Yeah.
I think you do, so I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
If you go to a pizzeria and they don't put the pizza in the box right away, like they put it on a rack, or they kind of put it on the side of the box to let it like get a little steamed off, that's a good sign.
So I like to grab one of these and then just even a tin, just throw it on here. That gap will allow it to air out just enough too. So like we do that sometimes. But yeah, racking them is something we want to start getting used to doing, because I think it offers up the highest quality once it goes in the box.
And like the box is great because you have to have it because you're a takeout place. Yeah. But it kills the pizza.
I always ask the folks like, hey, if you're commuting with this, try a slice now before you head out, so you really know what it's like.
Although if you know a good pizza, if you take it home 30 minutes later and it's still great, that's a real good pizza. Yeah. Because it's only going to be better at the place.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
And what kind of pizza do you guys serve here?
So right now we're doing a few different styles. It's hand stretched, artisan hand stretch. I don't really categorize it as anything specific, but like it's my recipe. It's the one that I developed. It's the one that I like. It's the one that bakes really well in the oven that we got.
If an outsider looking in would probably say it's New York style?
They would say I've got New York, New Haven-ish.
Okay.
Just because we do like to get more char on the bottom and top. New Haven typically has that. When I put them in the oven, they're not New Haven. When my nephew Marco puts them in the oven, they're like squares, and then it's a New Haven style. But
that's great.
But yeah, family operation. We got my nephews here, all their good friends. They're like bought in. They're part of the reason why I said I'm making the jump, because they believe in the brand just as much as I do. Like the quality. I always say it. Like we're not in the business of sending out shitty pizza.
Yes.
If it needs to be remade, we remake it.
Really?
We make it the way it goes out, the way they ordered it.
And what kind of oven do you guys use?
So this is a Pizza Master 722. Alberto would kill me if he saw these windows because it's not sparkly. We'll turn this one on. So I'm working on some par bakes right now. Our par bakes for our pan pizzas, which I didn't mention, we bake at 550, and then typically our hand stretch we bake at 650 with these settings. We could fit 4 hand stretch in at a time, only because we're doing 14 inches and that's a 28 by 28 inch stone. You can't get right up on top of the pizzas. So, but with the thin crust that we're looking to implement, we're hoping to do like 13 inches so we can get 4 on each deck and optimize the volume. But then I mentioned just the hand stretch, but this is kind of, we're also doing our grandma style, which this has been proofing for a couple hours. I'll make one of these for us here today.
Oh, that's great.
This will be par bake. And then we just started doing Detroit style. We do the 13 by 10, but I wanted to get a Detroit style out for you guys, like a fresh one. So this is the par bake that we're
that's great.
Yeah, just kind of get some of that air.
What kind of flour do you guys use? Do you care saying?
Caputo Supernova.
Okay.
Yeah, Caputo Supernova. I love it. It offers versatility for all the pizzas. I don't have to worry about separate storage bins. I mix up the hydration a little bit between the pizzas, but other than that.
Where do you make your dough? Here?
Yeah, right here. We've got our Sun Mix. So everything's on wheels. We optimize the space as much as we can.
Super clean in here too. I like that.
Yeah. I always say like we have to practice cleanliness just in general. It makes everything easy. Like when you're on a dirty line, 1, it's gross, and 2, your boards get messed up on the bottom. It's not a good look. And we have a very open view.
Yeah.
So like we always got to stay on top of it. But yeah, when we expanded to the space, we dropped the new sub panel to support the Pizza Master power. We also got some electrical run to support our mixer. It's a Sun Mix mixer from Italy.
How many pounds of dough does that make?
That will make 15 kilos. So one batch yields about 45 14-inch hand stretch and 30 pan pizzas.
And the same dough for all styles?
Different hydration, but same flour.
Gotcha.
Yeah, different hydration for the pan press. But yeah, this pizza specifically is very like reminiscent of like a pizza my mom or my grandmother would make. That's why we named it the Nunna. Like basement kitchen of their Italian home, which every Italian had a second kitchen. They would like map this out throughout the day, oil the pan, not butter, oil it, pan it with their hands, and periodically keep stretching it until it touched the corners,
So they call it a grandma pizza because the grandma used to make it on a sheet at home,
exactly,
right? Yeah.
Baking sheet at home. So I'm like, this will be perfect for us to add to our menu. I started doing these when I was just doing the mobile events. Obviously, those are in the warmer months. I needed something to do when it got cooler in Chicago. So like, I started offering take and bake options. These carried the best with take and bake, out of our home.
How much did it cost you to start? Like, if someone wanted to be like your pizza pop up. What is a pizza pop up?
Yeah, it was mobile pizza pop up.
So your mobile pizza, like, how much could someone get started with that if they wanted to start?
Less than $2,000.
Yeah.
Because you could get a couple of ovens that'll run about $600. I would
good
recommend
ones,
the bigger ones.
Yeah.
You want the bigger baking surface.
You can get the small unis and gazis that you use at your house, but You're not going to be able to pump out pizzas. They lose the heat too fast.
Yeah, that, and it's much, even though it's a 12-inch stone, that means you're making like 10-inch pizzas, and like, you know, 10-inch pizzas are smaller. Home or camping, perfect, right? Because it's easily portable. But I like the 16-inch stones on the unis. I use the Kodas at our events. At home, I have a Karu 16, which is the coal wood / propane, so I could go back and forth.
The Koda is the one with the door, right?
The Koda is the propane powered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Karu has the door.
Okay.
Karu has the door and the chimney.
Yeah. My nephew has one of those. He loves it. The 16-inch, because it's like you get the door, saves the heat a little bit. Get the top nice and
you could
cooked.
You could like kill that heat, and you could bake a thin crust in there, because then it's just like residual heat, you know.
So $2,000 you can get started.
$2,000, because the ovens, you want to get a tent, a good one, probably like a Coleman or something. You don't have to get it branded. I didn't get it branded when I started. And then a few folding tables, and then obviously coolers and equipment. So $2,000 get started. That really helped me build momentum in this area, because I was here and people knew me as, oh, the guy that did pizza at Ghost at one time, right? And so it was just a very easy move for me to come in here and say, all right, I want to be an extension of Dan's Ghost Coffee.
Was it hard to get business on that in the beginning?
Not really, because it was, so I had a strong enough following, locally at least, where people wanted to come out and try it and support it. So all my marketing, even to date, is just social media. Facebook, Instagram. We've got a website domain claim, so we're working on that. But I had a fence sign on this fence out here with the barbed wire, and the barbed wire ate it. So we have to get a new one that's in the works right now, but there's not much signage. It's all just kind of word of mouth, and with the volume that we've had, it's okay, because, you know, I feel like if there was more awareness, we would have a lot of volume, and then perhaps we'd sell out more and people might, you know, frustrated.
It's all, right? Like I was just like, that's a good way to do it. It's like it's like a secret pizza almost.
Totally.
If you know, you know.
Totally.
That should be your tagline.
If you know, you know. I like that. I'm gonna use it. SPM.
That's great. And then how much did it cost you? I know the oven's probably the most expensive thing.
So that was, I got that reused, or refurbished rather. So Alberto at Forza Pizza hooked me up. He's awesome. Helped me through just kind of figuring out what I wanted to do strategy-wise. Like, he came out here, he measured everything. At first I was like, I want the big one. I want the 933. I want it. And he kind of helped, you know, set the expectation that, like, hey, it's not always going to be like that. Like, maybe you want to inch into this. And this was the best opportunity for me to kind of capitalize on a really great oven.
Is this electric or gas?
Electric. So electric. It offers really consistent bakes, versatility all around. And I knew I wanted to, when I was first looking at the ovens, I was just thinking pan pizzas only. And then I'm like, no way. I'm like, that just seems silly. Like, you know, so we did hand stretch, you know, similar to what we did at our catering events, but obviously different style bake, because it's the Pizza Master oven.
Like, one thing that you learned so far, if someone's wanted to get started, like, what one piece of advice would you give them to end it off?
Ooh, man.
What's the most important thing? Is it like, obviously make it, I feel like making a good pizza is the obvious.
I mean, you always have to have good product. Like, definitely have good product and believe in it. Like, don't just be like, I'm gonna try this out. But I mean, good surrounding, good supporters, good advocates. Dan was a big advocate, but my family specifically, I wouldn't be here without the family. You know, like, I had my nephews, my brother, my sister, opening weekends, just trying to get it up and running. And, like, you know, being able to have that sort of support and advocacy. My wife is awesome too. Like, she realized that this was something that I was very passionate about. We had a really good brand going, that, you know, she's become kind of like the anchor of our family, so I could do this on the weekends. So, like, having
I was gonna say, I that's the first time anybody's ever said, like, a good support system, but I feel like that is the most important thing.
It is.
Because even no matter what business you start, if your family at home is, like, not supportive of that, or there's friction there, it's never gonna work.
You're gonna miss birthday parties, you're gonna miss, you know, just random
and not because you want to.
Right.
It's because it's like you're building something, and, like, that first year or two of building it takes momentum.
There's a bigger goal in sight, and I'm not saying, like, oh, I need to be this big time pizza operation, but I know that it's more than just, you know, a 250 square foot operation, and you got to have the right people. We have amazing people, and like I said, like part of the reason why I made the career decision that I did was because I had the support system, even with my staff. Like we had really good momentum and camaraderie in this kitchen. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's been great.
Thanks for having us.
I see all your memes about the scheduling and all that stuff, and it's like that really hasn't quite been an issue yet.
Good.
But I know it's coming.
The reason I do all those is because like I went through that.
The truth. Yeah.
It's like, listen, it is what it is. Like you gotta. Everybody's like, especially on Instagram, everybody talks about how great it is.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
It is great and it's fun, but there are like being a business owner is a lot different than making pizza at home.
It's different, and you know, I tell my dad that too. I remind him of he's immigrant Italian.
Yeah.
He, you know, worked hard so we could go to school.
Yeah.
I had a career in finance. I resigned as a CFO, and I tell him like I'm running a business.
Yeah.
It's not just to make.
You're not
pizza.
making pizza.
It's a business.
You are, but like,
I am, but it's a brand.
Yeah.
We got a lot of cool things in the works, and like I'm excited for.
This is a great way to start though, because you didn't like commit yourself to so much money in a lease or buying a building on a what if.
It's all self-invested equipment.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the good thing.
Thanks so much for checking out this episode of the SPM Show. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment below of where we should check out for the next pizza shop. If you have a pizza shop, leave it in the comments below. And what did you like about this video? Thank you so much for tuning into the show. We'll see you next time.